the kind of meta framework that we think about is this idea of surviving, striving, and thriving. And this is a framework that came to us, through a metaphor that kids were really using around what it would feel like to work. Like what is the nature of work, and how do they think about the emotional relationship of working? And so there was this one piece of it that's around surviving, right, which is kind of this day-to-day experience, kind of having often kind of the grind. Kids talked about it as like the 9 to 5, but they also talked about a lack of control around their schedules. They talked about kind of a hierarchy existing in this kind of experience of a hierarchy where they don't have any decision making, where they just show up to a place. And I'm inspired by the work of another colleague, Jennifer Wallace, who's thinking a lot about mattering. So when I think about this now, I think, oh, it's mattering, right? They feel like they don't matter in this experience of surviving around work. And then there's this second piece that's around thriving, there's a second piece that's around striving, which is the idea that you are working towards something and you can kind of see that the steps that you take in this interim period are moving you closer to thriving or at least away from surviving. The important thing there is that it's really hard for a lot of young people to talk about what that is or what you would do at that time. So the actions that you take to strive are difficult to articulate, whereas it's much easier for them to articulate what it feels like to survive. I think in some ways because that's so often what their retail jobs and their, fast food jobs, like that's often the experience they have as first time workers is in that space. And then there's the thriving at the other side, right? Which is kind of the imagined state.